Hello, beautiful beings of light. Welcome to this week's teachings. This week's theme and topic is the wisdom of the dragon pearl. My name is Tiffany Tin, High Priestess of Light, Spiritual Master Teacher. And in today's workshop, we'll be talking about what is the significance and wisdom of the dragon pearl. I myself have been working with the dragons for a very long time. And the dragons truly, their initiation is not for the faint-hearted. Their initiation, I would say, is quite transformative. And I myself have worked with galactic beings, angelic beings. They all work with us in different capacity. But dragons do not bypass. They are at times not very gentle like the angels. And when you initiate yourself to work with the dragons, they really do show you the utmost love, utmost wisdom, utmost activation that you deeply need at a certain time in your life. So it is my honor today to bring you forth an activation about the dragon pearl. Now, the dragon pearl itself, I can talk about it for hours and hours, but in today, here's what I'm being guided to talk about. So I have my usual whiteboard today to help some of you that are visual learners absorb the information. As you join into the workshop today, I would love to hear where you're joining from. So let me know in the chat where you are at. Let's see the grid that we're creating together. Now, today's teaching is about the dragon pearl. Why are the dragons, especially in East Asian culture, always shown that it gravitate towards a pearl, like a pearl that I have here, and I have a dragon crystal head over here. So this one is my mother dragon nexus. Those of you that have taken my dragon flame keeper knows what a dragon nexus is. So in essence, a dragon nexus is a medium in which you can use to communicate with higher ascended dragons of light. So this is my nexus here, is an Amazonite with opal eyes, and she's beautiful. So she is my protector. Now, why is the dragon always seen around a pearl? Pearl signifies in Asian culture, 珍珠. So, 珍珠 is pearl. It means something that is very precious, that something like an essence, precious essence, 珍珠. Dragon in Chinese is 龙. So 龙珠 is dragon pearl. And so the dragon is a symbol of power, sovereignty, prosperity, spiritual enlightenment. And we can see goddesses Kuan Yin herself always depicted with a dragon as well. And so many souls, and if you're in my soul group or soul tribe, or you have been resonating with some of my teachings, most likely you are connected to your higher dragon self, your dragon essence within you. And a lot of us are here to serve the sovereignty, the awakening of humanity by working with these beautiful ascended saints, ascended masters, such as Kuan Yin herself. I remember as a high priestess working with Kuan Yin, I did a ceremony where I just devoted myself to her. And I said, let me be the dragon that serves you. Let me be the high priestess that serves you, Mother Kuan Yin. So we can devote ourselves to an ascended master saint outside ourselves, not in a way where we are giving our power away, but in a way to empower ourselves. So, the Dragon Pearl Longzhu teachings. In spirituality, you will see now, everyone, there is sometimes conflict within one person's journey or in the collective. The true spiritual teachings that the master brings groundedness and harmony and coherence. What does that mean? That means science, religion, spirituality can all coexist at the same time. At every part of your journey, different experiences are going to come to you. And I feel that this is something that I'm voicing out loud for my community here, is that sometimes we see religion shaming spiritual people, and spiritual people have a lot of wounding in regards to religion as well. And then we have science people disregarding spirituality. And I feel, and this is my personal belief, and let me know what you feel as well, is that I feel all three is important. All three is needed at a certain point in our journey. And so each one of these aspects can live in harmony. I myself is a biology major in university. I grew up in schools that are religious. I read the Bible, I studied the Bible, and yet I'm here teaching out there, right, spirituality that merges many different types of lineages, Taoism, Vedicism, sometimes from the Christianity as well. And so I feel that it's not about us versus them, is when we as a person is in harmony with science, with spirituality and religion, and we see the good and the shadows in all of them, and you can live in harmony with all of these aspects. Right? So that's something about the dragon that brings forth. There is this logic side of the dragons, right? Some of them are quite logical, and I really believe that they are alchemists, right? Chemists of the universe. And then sometimes dragons can be very spiritual, where they work with light codes, portals, and sometimes they go into the more religious side of things, practices, devotion, and discipline. And so the pearl itself signifies that all of these layers can come into harmony with one another. And so the inside of our spiritual practice, right? It's like layers of the pearl. And this is a very simplistic way of explaining it, simple way to understand it. On the outer layer of our spiritual practice or our self realization journey, we have techniques. And these are techniques that you learn as someone that practice it. A technique such as how to pray, how to do yoga, asanas, how to meditate, pranayama, for example. These are techniques that you can learn through videos like mine, read books from other spiritual teachers, learn from podcasts in temples, and so forth. Then you also have knowledge as well, right? Knowledge and information. Now, where a lot of people get lost in this path is they have not done the integration work. And so we here in our community of the Sacred Flames, let us bring this importance of integration in our practice. There's only so much a person can go. If they go into yoga classes, looking at yoga classes as a way of exercise, it is a devotion practice, but they are not integrating, right, that higher aspect and the true essence, the core teachings of yoga itself. Is not just poses, it's not an exercise routine. There is branches of yoga. There is thousands and thousands of years of knowledge instilled in yoga itself. So this is where some people, when they're beginning their journey, get lost in spirituality or hit the glass ceiling because they're focusing on the technique. They're focusing on the knowledge and information only. Then there are those of us that initiates, adepts, or master that have gone through this integration phase so that the information and wisdom the information and knowledge becomes wisdom, right? Anyone you can see a lot in social media can repeat information and knowledge, but the true teachers, they share wisdom. And wisdom can only be gained through the absorption, integration process of wisdom. Right? So when you're looking into who to work with, my advice is look for someone not only to have the knowledge, but have the wisdom. Not someone because they have a lot of followers, but because they have that purity, that wisdom within them. Then the next fourth that comes from wisdom is realization or self realization. So this is very important as well. And I see this oftentimes in our spiritual journey, even in spiritual reading, channel messages from spirit guides, is we need to take time to digest it, to absorb it into our consciousness, to realize it ourselves. Is one thing for a guide to tell you all this information about your past life, messages about your your question, but if the person doesn't absorb it, it stays in this outer layer. It's just information, and that's it. The people that gain the most results from sessions and readings and channelings is the one that took the time to integrate it with patience, and then it become a inner wisdom, and then it become a self-realization. Those are the times when I receive emails back from people and say, that session a few weeks ago, I understand it now. I get it. I know where it's coming from. So these are the people who are self-healers. They absorb the information, but they're not just letting it sit in the outskirt of their consciousness. They take it in, just like you guys who's watching, into their own wisdom, their own self-realization. So what is this arrow here? What is this integration process like? And if I were to break it down, I would break it down into the 4 Ds. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first D is discipline. And I think this is lacking a lot in our society, at least what I'm watching sometimes in Western society is discipline is sometimes lacking. And so a lot of times people go on the spiritual journey thinking that it's just this cool hobby or this miracle thing that's going to solve everything in their life, only to realize that it takes work. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of discipline. This discipline, right, is going to be something that's used to generate energy. And so that's why a lot of the mystery schools and teachings of dragons, one of the quality that they look for or they train, they initiate in is discipline. And it starts very simply, just waking up and making the bed or waking up and doing a meditation practice. So I ask you now if I can invite every one of you that is watching in this frequency, discipline. Can you commit to one habit in your life where you will promise yourself to do every day? It doesn't have to be long. It can be very short. Even if it's just reminding yourself in the morning, you do a gratitude practice, 3 things that you're grateful for. Some things that I do as a mother with a toddler where my timetable can change sometimes is I just promise myself that I will take 15 minutes a day to do something that helps me connect to source. So that's the masculine energy. The yang energy of the dragon is that structure. 15 minutes a day, something that connects with source. Then the yin energy, the feminine energy, is me having the power to decide what I do with that 15 minutes. I can read some scriptures, I can do a meditation, I can do breath work, or I can do journaling, or something that connects me, right? Discipline. And I think this is also a big key point in how I was able to find rapid growth in my spiritual journey is this discipline. And so the dragons, when you work with dragons, they really urge and work with you in regards to discipline. Um, they have this very strong energy to help nurture you, to help remind you of this discipline. And I know this is a very difficult part that most people have trouble with, and that's okay, right? I have had depression, I have anxiety. I used to sleep like 16 hours a day. I just had no energy. It really took time. Discipline for me at that stage of my life was just getting out of bed and making my bed. That was the discipline that I had energy for. So, depending on where you're at and what is your lifestyle, everyone, please commit to something succinct, and it can be very simple. Remember, my line of teaching is simplicity, right? Is grace. So, allowing something very simple, the simpler it is, the easier it is to ground it. The second D is devotion, which is more like the yin energy or the feminine energy devotion. Devotion has to do with cracking open your heart, devoting to something that's unseen, that's outside of yourself. That's the reason why dragon is one of the zodiac animal in Chinese culture, even though it's not like real. Why do we consider it a zodiac? It's because it symbolizes what is unseen, and this unseen force can be very powerful. So devotion can be in different ways. It could be in prayers, right? I know everyone a very unique way of practicing. Some of you is prayers to God. Some of you is, chanting mantras towards Lord Krishna. Some of you is praying to Jesus. Some of us is chanting Dai Bei Jiu to Mother Kuan Yin. So something in your life that helps you devote your connection to source, right? It's all about the liberation of the soul. How do you liberate the soul? Devote yourself to source, devote yourself to God, however you want to call that macrocosmic energy. Then we have dedication. Dedication is more of a quality of the yang energy, right? Dedication. So dedication is having the concentration, focus, right? To sustain and persist even when things get tough. Spiritual journey is not rainbows, unicorn, and sunshine. It's difficult. It's hard. Even sometimes knowing I have to do some shadow work, you're like, oh, not again. Right? It's hard work, but it's needed. So that's a dedication. Is what is your dedication right now in your life? For example, right now, as a role as a mother and priestess, I have to now balance what it's like to be a mother, what it's like to be a priestess, and really have to rejuggle my value. And just to share a little bit of myself, I had to take about 2.5 years to learn how to shift from being a really successful business owner who loves her clients, love her students, love her business, to dropping everything and now learning to become a mother. It was very difficult for me to go through this transition because I love my work, but I also love my daughter. So, and there's only 24 hours in a day. So, how do I balance that? So, I had to juggle my value and slowly allow myself to shift my role and be like, this is the season of motherhood. I need to dedicate myself towards becoming a good mother. So this will shift. Your dedication is based on your values. So everyone, I ask you now, what is your value right now? Not what society is trying to tell you, like making six-figure, drive a nice car. Those are nice things. Those are bonus things. But ultimately, people are not going to remember you in the next life as someone that drive a Ferrari that had a mansion. People are going to remember you in the many lives to come of how you made them feel. They're going to remember you, the services that you have provided for them, for the collective. And so in a world where we're constantly being pushed by the elites to think about the material success, I invite you to dedicate yourself to celebrate and honor more of the unseen success that's not measurable by numbers. What does that mean? Those of you that are healing yourself, those of you that are working on your generational trauma so you're not passing it down to your children, those of you that had gone through horrible abuse, neglect in your childhood, but you know what? You kept your purity of your heart. You still kind to people. You still loving to people. You still give your best in your life and to the people around you. Aren't those success more beautiful than someone driving a nice car, right? Just because we see this person driving a nice car, do they have wholesome success? Do they treat their partner with utmost honor and respect? Do they, open the door for an elderly woman? Or do they take care of their children? Do they make their partner feel emotionally safe? These are the questions that we need to ask as a community to start shifting our perspective of success. Because those type of success, the healing work that you're doing, the services that you're doing, those are remembered by your soul, the Akash, by source, and by other souls. So do not get lost in this matrix. Dedicate yourself to what is important based on your value and stick to that. Do not get swayed. Do not get persuaded, because the material goods will come as a byproduct, as a result of your integration. Final D: discipline, devotion, dedication, and discernment. Discernment means discerning information, but also self-control as well. Discernment has a lot to do with purifying your soul. Sometimes we forget in our spiritual journey, we are so focused on getting rid of a health condition, getting rid of an emotional blockage, that we forget. But ultimately, we are here to purify our soul, heart, mind, and body. And so when we can remember this through discernment, we have the true eyes to see who are our real community, who are the real spiritual teachers, who are the real human philanthropists that are here to truly serve humanity. Because they're here to bring purification to the collective. So in your life as well, this discernment can be applied in different level. Is discerning when you have a negative thought in your mind, do you go along with it, or do you say, that is my mind, that is not my soul. My soul is peaceful. My soul is loving. My soul is content. And then it shifts the frequency, and you don't even have to sometimes do a lot of shadow work. Just that magic of your soul's power helps you release yourself from that density. And so these are the magic of the dragon pearl, that the dragon upholds, right? The wisdom of the pearl, and I should probably have wrote this down, the dragon pearl. A lot of people think the dragon pearl has to do with just money, and it's not. It has to do with abundance. It is the abundance of the soul. Is we want to live a life where we feel rich and wealthy with our soul. And I think this is part of the journey that brought me a lot of peace, is reminding myself in times when I'm comparing myself with others, so other people's progress, that I feel rich, I feel wealthy as a soul. The ability to connect with saints and ascended master, priceless. The ability to have tools, techniques, knowledge, and information to help myself and others and my daughter, priceless. The ability to go from having no friends to really having a community that are on the same path, priceless. Having students and thank you messages, and having fellow light workers who are on the same path as me, growing together as a community, priceless. And healing my childhood wounds with my mother so that we're not screaming at each other, and now we actually is rebuilding our relationship, priceless. Doing my healing work before I became a mother so I wasn't an emotional mess, priceless too. So all of these things, everyone, is priceless. And I know each one of you have these successes that I want you to celebrate more of. And let's make this a focus for this month, the month of May. Because the month of May is going to be a very slow month anyway. It's a month of rest. It's a month of spring and rejuvenation, is planting seeds. And so at this time, take a moment to honor how much mountains or how many mountains you have climbed, instead of spending time measuring how high the mountain you have to climb right now, right? It's two very different perspectives. And so let us embody these wholesome values in a world that is forgetting that richness of the soul. Let us remember that just because we don't have a mansion, just because we don't have all these fancy things, expansive things, doesn't mean we are worth less than, right? Those people, right? They might have those things, but we have other riches that last through lifetimes, through eternity. And so let us focus through the teachings of the dragon pearl. Allow yourselves to be the dragon, the sovereign dragon, and allow yourself to honor this pearl that you have within yourself. You are the dragon, you are the pearl, you are omnipresent as one at the same time. This is what I have for you today, everyone. And I feel this has really simplified a lot of things for me in this past 2 weeks. And whenever I feel lost, whenever I feel overwhelmed or restless, I remind myself these 4 Ds, right? Discipline. Am I lacking in my discipline? Did I drink enough water today? Devotion. Have I spent time being in the yin energy and just devote myself to something beautiful, smell the flower? Did I dedicate myself to my mission? I was feeling off today because I haven't done a YouTube video for a few days because I have been tired. My daughter hasn't been sleeping well. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe even though I'm tired, I need to do it because this is what fuels my soul. So I just told myself, you are tired, I know, but dedication, do it. And then discernment. Discernment is just, watching my thoughts and be like, my true wealth is the wealth of my soul. True wealth is the next time that we meet each other, you're going to remember me as a soul and say, she was a being of love. And that means a lot to me, much more than anything else. So, spiritual success, wholesome success, the wealth and abundance of your soul, everything else will come. So, that's the teaching of today. Hi, Anna. Nice to see you. Hi, Barbie. Nice to see you. Diona, nice to see you as well. Oh, we have quite a few people from Florida. Hi, Guy. Nice to see you. And Dila. Oh, you're from Egypt. That's amazing. Is the dragon and the phoenix related in any way? Speaking just from what I know about Taoism and my own culture, is they are related. The dragon usually symbolizes the masculine or the yang energy, and the phoenix symbolizes the yin energy. And so the symbol of the dragon and phoenix in my culture is very revered. Emperors wore robes that have dragons on them. A lot of Asian family, we love to have dragons in our homes, in feng shui. Phoenix as well. When we are getting married in our weddings, the male would be dressed in, again, a dragon attire, and then the female would wear phoenix on her dress. So it symbolizes this divine union between the divine masculine and divine feminine, or yin and yang, together. And each of these beings, right, also have a different frequency. The dragon frequency, phoenix, also brings forth rebirth. It brings forth this enlightenment, but in a flowing sense. It's the equivalent of the goddess in a lot of other traditions. So dragons and phoenix works hand in hand together. They are also spirit guides to a lot of people. There is also beings in higher dimensions that we would call dragons, and we would call phoenix as well. So yeah, I love these two energies together. They're so powerful. I have so much resistance towards the discipline. There always seems to be a block, whether it's my lack of interest or my inability to execute things right. For example, unfocused during meditation. You are not alone, Maya, and even myself sometimes struggle with discipline, which is positive thinking. So, what helped me and what helps some of the students that I've observed is having an accountability buddy. One of my high priestesses that we train, we actually get together. And once a week, on the Monday, we're like, okay, what is one goal or three goals that you want to accomplish? And then we would check in with each other on Wednesday. And then by Friday, we would just see, okay, how many did we complete? And anything that's not complete, we roll it on to the following week. So having someone else really helps that discipline. So I hope that that might help and help you feel better. It's not, something that should be ashamed of. It's just maybe a sign that there's a soul out there that you meant to connect and be closer with, and that synergistic energy is the healing that's going to heal the both of you. So yeah, very, very beautiful how each one of us experiences source in different ways. Diona, a few weeks ago, you offered me a quick reading during a live. I decided to devote some time into connecting with the message and have been so blessed by applying your insight into my practice. Oh, that's amazing, Diona. I'm so happy to hear. I don't remember what the message is, but that is you applying the teachings of the dragon. So go, dragon energy. Hi Savi, how to make achievement who benefits you titles to resonate with universe and to destroy corrupted demerge. Oh, I'm not sure if I understand what that means. How to make achievement who benefits you titles to resonate with universe and to destroy corrupted demerge. How to make achievement to who benefits you titles to resonate with universe and to destroy. I think what you mean is how to purify yourself, right? And I'm not sure. So let me know. But the three ways to purify your soul, fastest way. One is virtue, build positive karma by volunteering. Two, devotion, which we talked about. And three is service to others. How can you make others happier, healthier, maybe wealthier, more creative, more peaceful, more at ease with themselves? We're all here with special and unique gifts to serve the collective. So, yeah. It's amazing how so many ancient memories and downloads can come from one reading. Absolutely. I always say, like, in my sessions, one reading is enough for like 5 sessions combined. People always like, I need to listen to the recording again because there's so much information. And it always amazes us how the messages interweaves with each other. Holding space in Calgary, Michael. Nice to meet you, fellow Canadian. Mommy Stella, nice to see you. Thank you for the lovely teachings. My honor. Thank you for joining us today. Oh, Stella, you're from Philippines. Ah, amazing. Philippines is so beautiful. You guys have like the most beautiful beaches. Ah, so healing just thinking about them. Apollo. Hi, Irene. Hi, Ash, Julia, Blue and Gold Celestial, Poet Boy, Apollo, Klum, D. Klum, nice to see you. I've been seeing so many dragons in the clouds is what led me to your channel. Yes, they are here. They are here. They're much more visible. I always see dragons in the clouds all the time. So I feel you. I was like, there's some other dragon there. There's a timeline dragon. Feeling lots of energy at times. Don't know what this means. So yeah, connecting with your dragon guides can be really helpful, Apollo. So your name, right? Apollo, so powerful, sun, solar light codes. Maybe connect with the solar dragons. So the solar dragons are really helpful to work with if you work with light codes, if you like working with father son's energy, if you like working with people's light body. Stella, thank you for this live. My question is for beginners and newbies. What and how best techniques to meet our dragon guides? Oh, I love this question. So, for those of you that are new to working with dragons, dragons will take you in by observing you. So, the number one thing in my journey is these 4Ds. You don't have to be perfect in all of them, but you just have to have that commitment to say, dear source, dear, dragons of light, please use me as a mortal instrument to bring light, love to humanity. Please help me purify my soul, heart, mind, and body so that I can become a clear channel for source. Please guide me and forgive me of my human shortcomings. Thank you for your patience, your blessings of teachings, activations, and healing. Take me on as an initiate. I am grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So start with a prayer. You have to call them through your higher self with this prayer. They don't just usually come, they have to be invited. So I will start with an invocational prayer like this. And I still do a prayer like this every day. So that's part of my discipline. I do a practice like that, a gratitude prayer. And usually the dragons will then begin working with your shadow work. They will train you in areas where you're the weakest. So in my journey, they were training me to become a even more masterful teacher. So I went from employee to a business owner to healer to teacher, and now they are training me to be a leader. So it's very different initiation. So they come to you in one of those stages. Either you're going from one to the next stage, one to the next stage. They come in to help facilitate that change. And it can be very difficult in the beginning. You always enter the shadows first, the obsidian chamber. You work with the obsidian energy first, the ether dragons to address and purify yourself. The reason is the more purified you are, the easier you are able to connect with source, because then there's no filter, right? If there's a lot of ego, trauma, blockages, doubts, source is like a light coming through the filter. It can't really reach, right, and synthesize into a coherent message. So the more that we purify ourselves and we're very clear and pure, then source light comes down very easily, very succinct. So they will help you with your purification process, Stella. So those of you that are initiates, be prepared. When dragons train you, they train warriors. So they train empresses, kings, and they do not mess around. So be prepared for that. You can also work with a mentor as well. You can work with me right through my lives or my courses. You can work with other really beautiful spiritual teachers as well. I believe another spiritual teacher, her name is She Star or Earth Star. She works with dragons a lot as well. So it's working with people that are already working with the dragons that also help uplift your frequency into that bandwidth as well. And then is to meet your dragon. So when you meet your dragon, different people will have different experiences. Some people see themselves in their astral body flying with the dragon. Now, it could be you on the back of a dragon flying into the realm of the dragon, or it could be you as your dragon self flying and remembering, right, the dragon realm. Or it could be you are like inside an orb or egg and the dragon carrying you through this dragon flight. For some other people, your initiation will be different. So it comes in stages. My first initiation was kind of like that, like a dragon flight. And then I was initiated in the dark obsidian chambers to purify my shadows, my mental blockages. And then when I entered that from teacher to leader initiation, I had to climb a tower. So in my dream, I was climbing a tower, a spiral all the way up. When I got to the top of the tower, I saw statues of massive dragons, and they were different colors. And I would pass these statues, and I was looking for my dragon teacher. And so I would see the other dragons and I honor them. But then when I reached my teacher, everyone, my dragon teacher, it was a dream that no word can describe. In the dream, this golden dragon came alive and he looked me straight in the face and his eye glowed. And then it's almost like he just merged into my third eye. I was like, oh my God, this is so amazing. Thank you. So this is like opening up my diary and sharing with the world. And that was my stages of initiating with your dragon. So you are going to have different experiences with your dragon. Each time you get your initiation, a different dragon is going to be your teacher. So I started out with an elemental dragon, and then now I have a dragon of light, lineage Lemurian. So those of you that are interested in becoming a lineage keeper, a dragon flame keeper, you can learn with me in that course, in that training, that we work with the lineage of Lemurian dragons. So yeah, there's many ways to work with the dragons and many ways to activate your spiritual gifts as well. So if you guys are ever like doubtful about the process, don't be afraid to comment in my video or let me know in my email, because it's better to just have someone you ask question with than to navigate the spiritual journey blindly, because that's when I see people go into trouble. Right? They get misguided, right, by certain entities. You need to have someone that upholds a lot of light to guide you. And your right mentor will come, your guru will come, that person you're meant to work with, your higher self is going to link you to them. So yeah, right now I'm working with Babaji's lineage. So my Guruji, Paramahansa Yoganandaji, initiated me or invited me in a dream as well. And I tried to ignore it. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I don't have time right now. The next day in the dream, they're like, no, you have to start reading this book. And I'm like, I don't have time right now. I need to work. And then they made me sick for 4 days straight so that I was in bed and I had no choice but to read and finish the book. And I'm like, got it. All the questions that I had was all answered in Yoganandaji's book. And I'm like, that's why my higher self made me sick for 4 days, because I was not listening. Someone here from the Philippines. I'm visiting in September. Yes. Someone was from the Philippines. Stella, I believe, if my memory serves. Julia, what are the best way to raise our frequency to enhance smooth channeling? I would like to sign up for your priestess program soon. Absolutely, Julia. I'm here for you anytime you're ready. So what is the best way to raise our frequency to enhance a smooth channeling? So it goes back to this Dragon Pearl teaching, right? Is that wisdom, the realization, the 4Ds, and the purification of the soul. So as a reminder, it is virtue, devotion, and service. So to think about in these 3 areas, which area can you really work on a little bit more, right? To purify the soul, to raise your frequency as well, everyone. It also has to do with this holistic picture of soul, mind, heart, and body. So that means when you raise your frequency, you're actually going to eat less meat. Um, some of us still need a little bit of meat protein to shift into that like vegan state of being. Not all of us can just go cold turkey, right? Some of us still need a little bit of animal protein to make that shift, right? You got to think for centuries, your ancestors have been eating meat, and then now you come in and you're like, okay, I'm not going to eat meat. That was me. And then I ended up being very, very sick. So then I'm like, okay, I got to slow down the process and take it easy on myself. So you will find yourself eating less meat, just like, breakfast, lunch, you might not eat meat as much, and then only at dinner, for example. Purifying the body, releasing heavy metal from your body through smoothies and herbs, taking care of your body, really treating your body like a temple, right? If you're going to become a channeler for others, you must have a clear body. It doesn't mean it has to be free of disease or blockages. It just means that it have to be in an optimal position. Then there is your mind. So purification of the mind, your mindset, your thoughts. Stop watching. In my journey, I stopped watching like Netflix movies, because whenever I watch those movies, sometimes it will hurt my third eye. Or at the end of the day, I will start to see weird images because of the frequency they're trying to transmit through those programs. So watch what you are consuming in your third eye, right? If you're watching a lot of even social media, if you want to understand what the lower astral is like, just go on Instagram and randomly scroll. You don't know what pops up next. That's the astral realm in the lower astral. So allowing yourself to be more picky about what you consume, really safeguard your entire being and protect your energy, protect your peace. And this is also something that I realized as well as a healer. And being a healer is great because it forces you to become stronger with your boundary. Because if you don't protect your energy and your peace, you cannot be a clear channel for others. So protecting your peace, protecting your energy, right? Really taking a look in your surrounding, what is not serving you. Let go of the toxic chemicals. Let go of, all the things that really doesn't feed your body. So yeah, I stopped wearing perfume like a decade ago because I realized how toxic they can be. Just like clarifying the whole environment, and then your soul, which we talked about, and then the emotional body through emotional work or inner child work. So I know it sounds a lot, but overall is beneficial not only to yourself, but to the future generation and to the collective. And yeah, and one of the fastest ways also to learn with a teacher. So when I was learning myself, I seek all types of teachers. I went to Buddhist talks, Dharma talks. I went to Taoism classes. I went to learn with Mother Maya, Ayurveda. I learned with, Babaji's lineage. I learned with as many teachers as possible. I learned through the gospel. I learned through so many different ways of elevating my state of being. So I just choose my teachers, right? Very simply, just Kuan Yin, Buddha, Jesus, and now Babaji. And that's it. That's how I protect my field. I still work with like Pleiadians and Andromedans, Octurians, but I actually don't work with them as much as other people, because to me, what's more important is the purest energy. So it's okay to explore these different dimensions and being, but always remember the true state of your being, connection to source, purity. Hi, Raph. Hi, Tiffany. What's your daily spiritual routine look like? Let's see. Oh, the sound is off. Sorry about that. It could be lag, but I'll close off in just 2 minutes. So, what is my daily spiritual routine? So, usually start off with Yogananda Ji's book. So, I have his book there, and I'll open a random page and I'll just read that page. And in that page, there will be something for me to integrate, right? The knowledge and integrate into self realization. I start with that. And then once I have time, once I drop off my daughter at daycare, I'll come back and I do a gratitude prayer with my incense. So my prayer is like, dear source, dear galactic central sun, purest form of light, they're my soul, heart, mind, and body. Dear all of the saints, masters, dragons, seraphims, beings of light, name and name that protects me, guides me, teach me. I love you all. Thank you and appreciate you all. To my past, present, and future students, teachers, clients, fellow light workers, I love you, honor you, and appreciate you. Dear Source, dear Mother Kuan Yin, please use me as a mortal instrument for divine healing to channel forth. If any of my work is beneficial to anyone in humanity, please share my work with them. Thank you for this opportunity to serve. Please continue to guide me. I am so thankful. Please take this incense as a gesture of gratitude. And thank you. So that's like my practice that I try to always do. And then, like I shared earlier, just 15 minutes of devotion, whatever comes to me, like, oh, I feel like I need to do a meditation today. Today, I feel like reading scriptures, or today, I feel like just painting as a way of connection. So, those are like my routine. And so, a lot of people might feel, oh, she must talk to galactic beings all the time. I actually don't. I'm very grounded. I do house chores. I take care of my personal life. And I think that's when someone has embodied that, doesn't matter what their life is, they're very grounded, right, in their lives. They are able to master the physical life and also the spiritual life as well. So that's what I strive for. That's what I do my best in. And yeah, it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be hours of practice. It's actually more powerful if you do little and little at a time to build momentum and consistency. So I hope sharing that helps some of you that might have been too harsh on yourself. Okay, thank you everyone for joining me in today's talk and teachings. I look forward to seeing you next time. We'll see what the higher realm has in store for us next time. Sending you so much love. I honor you, appreciate you. Remember to celebrate your wholesome success. Let us do this together. We're in this together as a team.